Welcome back. Well, 200,000 women serve in the U.S. military now, many in combat roles. Yet the barriers that they've broken through were only made possible by the women who served before them.
Please give them a big round of applause.
Heartfelt cheers erupted for the women of World War II in Nassau County inside the American Armor Museum in Old Bethpage. Surrounded by the symbols of warfare, these women, all now well into their 90s, were honored for standing up to the notion that combat was for men alone. 94-year-old Barbara Cruz faced hostility when she signed up for the Marine Corps as a teenager.
And the GIs were not happy. Women in the Marine Corps, they tried their darndest to see how many of us they could break down and want to go back home.
Instead of breaking down, Barbara Cruz went on to become a staff sergeant. More than 400,000 women served in the U.S. military during World War II, and about 500 lost their lives. 93-year-old retired Marine Sergeant Tess Pierce Garber says she and her husband signed up following the devastating Japanese attack at Pearl Harbor, citing the example of women then fighting to create the nation of Israel.
I said, if the women in Palestine can fight for the country, why can't the women in America?
Flo Basio points proudly to the vintage photo of her 95-year-old mother Josephine in her Army Air Corps uniform. She says the biggest resistance her mom faced was from her parents.
She tried to change traditions because her family was very rigid about women going outside the family.
Now it's applause and bouquets for these veterans, appearing younger than their years and a bit surprised by the attention.
It's nice. I'm embarrassed, really. I didn't expect this.
Proving the wisdom of this better late than ever recognition for the heroic women of the greatest generation. Indeed. Joining us now, Silvia Burgess, founder of Women in the Military, an organization on Long Island that helped put together this event. What a delight it was to be there. These women were amazing.
They are awesome. They have paved the way for us, and it was just awesome to see history and for them to tell their story.
Well, you really said it there. They paved the way, you know, because women in the military, that was just like impossible thought to a lot of folks. Yet they did all the jobs at home when the men went off to war, and then they joined them, and many times going to the front lines, you know, serving as doctors, nurses, and support technicians. And you know, I don't know, did you even really understand what contributions they made before you went into the military? Because you're a veteran, right?
No, yes, I am, but not at that time. I guess as I spoke to them and they talked to me about opening the doors and the things that they faced, I was so surprised, whether it was just the fact that they were a woman or even racism for some of them.
That's true.
It was amazing to hear the history and the stories from the ladies.
And you hear them today talking about, hey, they were trying to break us down. The one woman was saying she went down to they didn't even have any barracks yet for them down in at Camp Lejeune, and I guess in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
And they were like, what are you doing here? And she was still fiercely defending herself about, I'm here to serve.
Yeah, that's Barbara Cruz. She's a Spitfire Marine.
No kidding.
Yes.
And so impressive. So in so many ways, making it possible for what women do now. And now women, of course, are in a full combat role, pretty much able to enlist in any position for the most part that men do. And you served. First of all, tell us about your service. Where was that?
I served in Korea. That was my first duty station from, I served 18 months.
Korea?
Korea.
One of the hot spots of the world.
Yes.
Where in Korea?
Camp Casey, headquarters, which is close to the DMZ. I was quite close.
The line that separates South Korea from North Korea.
Yes, yes.
That's one of the most hostile places on earth.
Yes, it is. It is. But during that time, I think I felt very secure because you go with a patriotic heart. You go to serve your country. And being there, I went to the DMZ a couple of times with different cases, serving as a legal clerk, dealing with the different issues that soldiers face with the Korean government. We have to support them. So I've even slept under armed guards, so it's okay. It was good.
So now you founded a group for women veterans, women in the military. When did you do that, and why did you do that? It's a nonprofit group, volunteers.
Well, currently I serve as the first female veteran service officer for Nassau County.
What does that mean? What does that
That means
entail?
I file compensation and benefits for these women who come back with injuries, whether it be mental or physical. I help them get the benefits they need through the VA. I advocate for the woman, well, for our veterans, but especially the women.
You know, I gotta say, could just be my sense of things, but generally when people talk about veterans who came back and they're suffering with PTSD, and we've all become very aware of this now, about how serious a problem is, or maybe they lost a limb and now they have prosthetics. it seems invariably you see men being profiled, and yet there is a lot of women who have this same situation. And that's what you were telling me about before we started here today. Explain that.
That's because women don't really identify themselves as veterans, and people don't ask. As a female veteran service officer, I found that they started coming out of the woodwork once they knew I was there. So currently I have a roster of about 200 women in Long Island.
What kind of issues are they facing?
PTSD, suicide, military sexual trauma.
That's really sad to hear.
Yes. The suicide rate is growing. That's the problem we have. 2 out of every 5 women will commit suicide, and the women in the military who have served this country is a growing rate.
Well, that's shocking. And people never like to talk about suicide. They're always afraid that somehow it'll make people think about it, yet they are thinking about it. And especially more shocking when you realize that somebody went overseas, that they went somewhere, faced combat, faced an enemy, hostile fire, managed to come back and survive, and now you're thinking about losing your life? What's causing that?
The transition. It's a very hard transition for a woman who served. Coming back, they feel lonely. They are worried about their families. It can be anxiety, several things that can drive a woman to think, okay, I have to take my life.
And some of them have children.
Yes.
And I even heard from one of the folks we interviewed last year who was honored by your organization, Sergeant Phoebe Irvin,
yes,
is that her name?
Yes.
That she finds are homeless women veterans with children.
Yes.
Well, how is that happening?
Yes. We're seeing that population grow from 1% to 3% now.
3%?
Yes.
Where are they living?
Actually, believe it or not, me and my husband, we're both veterans. We take them into our home, and currently I'm in the process of trying to get a property in Nassau County to start a transitional house for women and their children, because there's no housing for female veterans with children. There's housing for female veterans, but not if you have a child.
So what happens if a homeless female veteran shows up, she's got a couple of kids, what do they tell them?
Actually, they tell them they can't help them. And the problem seems to be really the fact that a woman will have a child support order. People look at DSS and all these other programs, but they're not going to help a female veteran because female veterans don't have drug problems and they have an income. They work, so they might be living in their car.
In their cars?
Yes. You can find
with
them.
their children?
Yes.
Well, that's sad. You know, people, it breaks their hearts. They want to help out. So how can somebody help out? How does somebody find your organization?
They can go to womeninthemilitary.net or call us at 516-800-1000 and get in touch with me, and we will definitely put them to work or have them do so many other things to support these women, to make them feel better. Just saying hi.
We love you guys. We thank you for your service, and we are standing behind you. And if we can help, you're going to be getting some phone calls, I think.
I hope so.
Womeninthemilitary.net. Silvia Burgess, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.